Hi, my name is Brianna Youngblood, and I am a freshman biochemistry major at the Clemson University. Um, this is my vlog for the new student dialogue for Lib 100. Um, in this vlog, three main questions are supposed to be addressed, and so the first one is: were there active voices in your dialogue? Explain. There are definitely active voices in our dialogue, mostly the people with the dominant personalities and the class clowns who like ease up the mood. The second question is, were there more reserved voices in the dialogue and why? There were definitely reserved voices in the dialogue because it was quiet for the most part, and um mostly because they're asking you to have a conversation with strangers, which is really hard for some people. And the third question was, what role did you play in the dialogue? And I would say that I was an intermediate in between reserved and active. And this is because, like anyone else, nervous around strangers, but at the same time, I was willing to step up to the plate to break the awkward silence at times. And so I think that the whole point of this dialogue in general is to get you ready for college. You're going to have classes dedicated to speaking in front of a whole class. Um, Small discussion groups, and also you're going to college, which means diverse group of people with different opinions and views on things. And that's basically the point of a dialogue, is to understand other people's opinions and views of other things. And so on that note, I would say that the dialogue, prepares you for what you're going to do the next 4 years. In my specific new student dialogue, we talked about peer pressure, and the definition of peer pressure is an influence exerted from another. Um, the peer pressure that mainly everyone knows about is, bad peer pressuring you to do something that you don't necessarily want to, and um, most people, when you talk to them about peer pressure, they understand that it's bad and they're like, oh, it's stupid. Obviously, you should have a mind of your own. But they don't realize that they've already been put in a position of peer pressure or have peer pressured someone themselves. Like, for example, when you're studying, you have it set in your mind, oh, I'm going to study for my test on Monday. Your friend comes knocking in your room like, oh my God, it's this really big party tonight. Or even like, oh, let's go to the movies. I heard everyone's going. Peer pressure, bad peer pressure, failure to social life, and it's not really helping you with your education or anything. And you might have been the person on the other side that said, oh, forget studying. You have Sunday like everyone else does it on their work on Sunday. So why can't you? You know? And um I felt like the more we talked about peer pressure, obviously with drinking and smoking and the usual stereotypes of college life, I realized that, you know, you don't really, like, even though it says it, in commercials and everything, people don't really peer pressure you to do drugs or drink, and they don't tease you for it. Like, people, oh, you don't drink, like, people don't even notice really. It's not really a big deal in college like people say it is. But there's also a such thing as peer pressuring yourself. Like, you're like second guessing what you already want because you see how everyone else is acting and you're like, oh, well, that seems fun. Everyone else is doing, like, you're kind of talking yourself into it even though you don't want to. So sometimes you can be your biggest enemy. I know one time I thought about this and I knew that I had peer pressured my mother into writing me a sick note for senior skip day because I still wanted to exempt all my exams in high school. So I thought about that and I was like, oh, I peer pressured my own mom, but it should be okay. There's Although people think about peer pressure as a bad thing, it can also be a good thing. Um, People can, peer pressure can be motivation to do good. I know when I first got here, my time management skills were horrible. Of the 24 hours in a day, I probably spent 15 of them sleeping and not going to class because I thought they were too early or anything. But thanks to my roommate, who's currently sleeping up on the bed, ironic, you know, woke me up, told me you need to start going to class. You're gonna fall behind, or oh, let's go to fight. Let's be productive. Let's go to the library, have a study session. And so there is such thing as good peer pressure that helps you motivate. As I said, there's bad peer pressure from your own self, and good peer pressure. So, on that note, my only advice to you when it comes to peer pressure is to try to avoid it at all costs. Have a strong mind when it comes to bad peer pressure. And for good peer pressure, understand when someone is trying to help you and be open minded to that. But since most peer pressure is thought to be bad, I would say surround yourself around positive people. Understand who your friends really are, and focus. Stay focused and don't let anything sidetrack you. And this is concluding my vlog. Thank you.